Okay, here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time with Nocturne in the Jungle, and this is a post-game commentary recorded after all the dust has settled. So, let's go over our lane matchups, once the gates drop like usual. I am Nocturne in the Jungle against Gragas. We have Shen top against Yasuo, Morgana mid against Veigar, and Ezreal partner with Leona bot against Zyra and Trist. So I wasn't sure about who was going where between Zyra and Veigar because, well, Zyra isn't really that popular as a mid laner, but she is packing Ignite. Meanwhile, Veigar has hardly ever played, and before his nerfs, he was recently becoming a support. So, Nocturne, I'm going to mouse over the stuff right here. Your passive is Umber Blades. Basically, after a certain period of time, reduced by your auto attacks, your next attack becomes AoE, does 120% AD, and heals you for a flat amount of health. I don't think anything can ever change that from being a meager 10 HP. Definitely something worth looking into for Nocturne buffs. Your Q is Dust Trail. You throw out this blade, it sticks to targets that are hit. A dust trail is left in its wake. The trail gives you the ability to move through units, it gives you movement speed and attack damage. W is your spell shield. I don't remember what it's called offhand, hopefully it's just spell shield, but passive effect is it gives you attack speed. Your active effect is you block a spell and then it gives you double the passive bonus. E is Unspeakable Horror, tether type move, has the passive effect of giving you a surge of movement speed toward feared targets. So if you're working with Shaco or Fiddlesticks, Nocturne has the synergy there, but otherwise it only really applies to your own fear. I'm going to smite these for the stun, and I'm going to take the W at level 2. And for what you take second on Nocturne, my call is that it depends on which side of the map you're on. If you're starting with the golems, you can actually get better CC by taking the W and just using the attack speed for more stuns from the golem buff. While the E, it does a little bit of damage, yes, but it shouldn't come off cooldown before you actually kill the buff, I think. So you actually get a better return from the W when you have the golem stun buff. But your E, Unspeakable Horror, it's a tether type move. You deal damage over time, I believe, to the enemy that you have tethered. Yeah, one of the nice things about Nocturne's passive is you can clear those fairly easily and safely. I wanted the tether before I went in to the Scuttle Crab, if you're wondering. Okay, now to try to pick up where I left off. Your E does damage over time. If the enemy does not break the tether, then they are feared. The duration of the fear scales with the rank of the move, which is why we'll be maxing that second. Finally, your ult is Paranoid, I think it's called. It's not a global. I actually didn't play back when some of the moves were global to know if it ever was global, but it has crap range for rank 1, but as you rank it up, the range gets more and more impressive. Basically, you deny all vision from the map. Here the two kill one another. If Morgana had actually killed him, I think Dangerous Game may have saved her life, but I'm not totally sure on that. So you deny all vision to enemies. It can be cleansed or blocked with a Banshees, I believe. And then you have a window of time to jump to a target that you are able to see, either through your vision, a ward, allies' vision, whatever. As long as you're able to see where they are and they're within that circle, you can jump over to them and do a nice chunk of damage, and probably scare the crap out of them. So that's how Nocturne works. And as for the game at hand, first things first, you may have noticed this is a 50-minute plus game. So I'm going to be here for a while, since I probably will do commentary for the whole thing, unless I decide to back out partway. Anyway, I went ahead and did a almost entire clear. That gives me enough gold for the stalkers, and I can get 2 potions. Sadly, I don't have enough for a pink ward, but Gragas, I don't jungle him, so I don't know the finer points, but I don't think he really does much early because he just doesn't have, like, damage or durability. I really don't know the finer points of the character. Definitely something to look into, I guess. So right here I went ahead and burned the smite for the stun once again because I wasn't anticipating going bot. Spoilers if you're wondering what's about to happen. So if you look, our Ezreal's in bad shape, and I can say after the game has ended, that guy doesn't know how to play AD carry, I assume. Anyway, I'm on the move here. I don't know what happened to Tristana's jump, but she's dead. She is packing Cleanse, as you can see there, but after the fact it was just way too late for her. For Zyra, I didn't want to take both kills, so you saw how I backed away thinking, okay, she's alone, we can definitely get her. Then the posse showed up, and here's where things get a tad dicey. So Event Horizon and the barrel are down. I flashed to get some distance because I don't know the cooldown on Gragas's belly slam. And while I wanted to make something happen, looks like it just wasn't meant to be. I think we actually do get Veigar here. Yeah. So I spell shielded something, and now I'm using my tether to deal a little bit of damage, as well as just force him to do something. And 103 stats. So the unanticipated roam bot by me ends up giving us 4 kills. And like usual when I play Nocturne, I want to go Devourer. And if you ever wonder why I do that, look at the duration of this game. It pays off. It's a last resort pretty much. So obviously you can tell that I'm going to be stacking that pretty high. And I can go ahead and give you the statistic that I did the most damage out of the entire team, so yeah. It does come in handy every once in a while, even though most people really despise the item these days. I will admit it's not for all the characters, but Nocturne is definitely worth the hassle. So right here I was hoping we could actually get something big out of him. I can go ahead and use the W to walk through that, but unfortunately it ran out before I actually reached the other side of the wall. The spell shields in the game have very brief lifespans, sadly. So right here we have another roaming gang squad. I don't know if the enemy was pre-made or what, but based on how those 4 move, I strongly suspect it to be the case. And the other funny thing is, Tristana is one of the safest laners in the game, being able to black shield through CC and stuff. They're wasting their time. I mean, sure, Gragas and Veigar can all pop that, and I guess Zyra too. But that's a spell that's wasted, and it's going to have to be something high impact because that's a mid lane Morgana. She has AP to get more out of the shield. So right here I was hoping I had enough by some slim chance for the Devourer, but I don't, so I can get the recurve bow since the formula has changed. And I think this is my first game showing the new recurve bow. It gives attack speed and most importantly of all an additional 10 damage per hit. Now I don't know if that's true damage, physical damage, magic damage, or what, but the 10 damage with Nocturne's attack speed actually does add up. Pretty much the same thinking as the Devourer, which is why it's one of the components of it. So once again I want the stun to give me a save clear. I can go ahead and pick up the red buff, and I believe this will give me level 6. Sadly, I don't have the ranks of the players in the game, so I don't know if anyone is Diamond, Platinum, or whatever. It's just after playing with them I have doubts. So right here I want to try to get into range, but they obliged. So right there we got Zyra's Flash, we also got Tristana's, and I don't think we... yeah, they killed me here because Gragas was lying in wait. And I'm going to make Gragas suffer immensely for that, in case you're wondering. So right there, Veigar went down one more time. I now have enough for the Devourer. We are at the almost 10-minute mark, so it's a little slow for the Devourer, but it's not too bad. I also get the longsword on this back to speed up my clear even more. And right there, Shen didn't even notice Yasuo recall, and here's one of the more awkward moments of the game. So Shen started with a Durans. On this back, he went ahead and got Ninja Tabby, Home Guard Ninja Tabby, and 2 cloth armor. Personally, if I were him, I would have went for the Bammy Cinder instead of one of those items. Like, if he could have gotten Ninja Tabby and the Cinder, and he would have been a bigger threat to Yasuo than he currently is. So right here, we try to make a move on Yasuo. I don't think this works. Yasuo is kind of tricky to pin down. The important thing is we got his flash there, so we can make a return trip. Meanwhile, here I'm going to steal red buff in a interesting way. Yoink! And the other sweet part is I got to steal his raptor buff, like the actual buff, because he has to go clear that out, and that's a junk ward. It's not really worth as much, it doesn't last as long. And in exchange for it, I got his red. And right here, I don't know, maybe he was mad or something, but you don't charge a Nocturne. So the Fat Man, that's payback number 1. And you can see right here that that brush is warded because Yasuo knew I was casting that at that exact moment. And that connected, I actually would have went in on him. But without it, I have a little bit less damage. Here, Leona gets Trist at the cost of her life. And my ult is up. It's just, I don't think there's really any opportunity on the map to be found. The only thing that kind of sucks is I'm level 7 at the moment, so the ult is what the cooldown on it is. Right there I can see it. So with my CDR from the blue buff, it's 130 seconds, approximately 2.5 minutes without. And right here I wanted Yasuo, but apparently this is warded, so I just opt to recall. And go ahead and get the Bilgewater Cutlass, and then just generate pressure elsewhere. Plus the other thing about me being there is if he knows I'm there, he's going to back off, and that will give Shen some time to just last hit, get some CS. Just a brief moment of respite. And one thing I can say is, despite the length of the game, this is not a 5-dragon game, sadly. So Leona wants to pinch him. I'm moving in on this side. I knew he was going for the raptor buff because he's greedy like that. And right here, we basically cut off his escape. We go on both sides of him. And I could ult Veigar, but I'd rather just give it to Ez because I don't know how bad the player is just yet. So Veigar's even more behind, and we got to make Gragas suffer. So that's payback number 2. I could have smited that for the stun. I'd rather hold on to my smite at this point because we might be able to get something. So I wanted Trist. You can see right there that I can get her. And mainly right there I wanted to kill her to proc dangerous games so that I could get a little bit more health back and not have to worry about her passive shot. As for right here, I was expecting Gragas to go over the wall. Don't know what happened. But right now, he is tanking the dragon. And if Ez actually came over here, we could have gotten him. But instead, I just dropped my ward outside of the pink ward vision on him. He has to back off since he tanked way too many dragon shots. And I don't remember if we get the dragon here or not. We don't actually have Ez with us. I think we killed Gragas. So, number 3. So, Veigar is there. He can't really do much since I walked away from his event horizon, and here comes a small bloodbath. Like, Leona should not have spun around like that, but maybe she does get away. I thought this is where Tristana killed them both, but oh well. Yasuo dies, Shen ults in just for the assist. And I can go ahead and pick up the recurve bow and a new pink ward since the one I dropped in the bush got cleared. And sadly I'm only level 8 at the moment, so I can't actually upgrade my trinket despite having the gold for it.
This place disgusts me.
So Ez ulted the dragon, thinking they may have been taking it. You can see that was not the case.
The light is fading.
And I can go ahead and pick this up. I can use the red buff to kill them while I move on to the next camp and get even more stacks for my Devourer. My ult is up, but at this point I'm level 9, so just a little bit closer until the rank 2 ult, and here I can drop the pink ward in my favorite spot.
Are you getting tired yet?
And now we're converging on the dragon pit. So you can see Tristana ducking out through the bushes. Gragas is showing top. And I think here I try to get Gragas, but he gets away. You may notice the top outer turret is still up. If not for that, I think I would have gotten him here.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Since he's really close, I can go ahead and just try to Dusk Trail in. Right there he uses Belly Flop, his smite is down. Like Leona shows up, but actually, yeah, we got him. He's dead to rights here. Once he took a certain amount of damage, even if he had managed to get away, I just ult to him. So right here I want to stand close enough for Leona to cash out all of her stacks. Instead she just cashed out 2, I think. I don't like being the non-support that just denies someone with the Targons. It annoys the hell out of me when people do it to me, so I make sure not to do that to others. But right here, since I'm pretty much driving the action on the map, I'm taking this. Morgana, she's pretty safe so far. She's doing well enough without it that I think I can just take it a little while longer. Eventually I will want to get that to her so she can get stuff just more rapidly, if not for the mana regen, just for the 10% CDR, so more black shields, more dark bindings, etc. As for this, we have Shen and Leona, 2 tanks trying to take the dragon, which will take an eternity. And they did pretty well for themselves, but I just show up here to end it. So the dragon does count towards the Devourer, you want to make sure you get that. I could afford to smite a tad early because, for one, I die here. So they burned literally everything they had to kill me. This would be the opportunity for the team to go ahead and force something, but oh well. So I didn't have to worry about the dragon because there were no enemies nearby to steal it, particularly Gragas. And the tanks don't really do as much damage as I do. I had the Cutlass, the Recurve Bow, the Devourer, all those things give me quite a bit of an edge over them. And one other thing I can point out is that our Ezreal is the old blue Ezreal build. He goes for Frostborn Gauntlet and all this other crap, and his DPS suffers as a result. The most annoying part about all of it, I'd say, is that with a Morgana and a Shen on the map, there's no reason he should need the slow. He should definitely be going Trinity Force like any other Ezreal, and yeah. So right there I was doing a peek on the damage. I couldn't remember what it starts off with, like 20 or 25, so it's usually why you see me checking it. But at long last we now have ult rank 2. Sadly, it took me all the way up to the 20-minute mark to get it, but now that I have it, the ult has a longer range, more damage, and a shorter cooldown. All good things. And I don't know why it took me so long to tether that thing, because the fear slows it down even if it doesn't increase the damage, and just by having it slowed, it's easier for me to get more and more hits on it since I have so much attack speed from the Blade of the Ruined King and the Devourer.
This place disgusts me.
And I kind of wanted to recall him here, but it looks like my team's going in. I could have ulted and jumped over to Gragas, potentially stealing that, but that would be way too greedy in my opinion. And I want Merc Treads here because there's only so much CC I can block. I can block one spell while I have to worry about Zyra's Snare, Gragas' stun, Veigar's stun. I can't really do anything for Yasuo's knockup, but Trist has a slow, I can't do anything for her knockback. It's just this game I can't really afford not to go Merc Treads. And I wasn't actually anticipating getting caught by the Event Horizon. As a result, we lose Shen, but we can go ahead and pick up Yasuo, and yeah, we got Gragas here too.
Double kill.
So we went 2 for 3 in the end there, I believe. Definitely a good sign for us. Like I said, if not for Ez going for that damned Frozen Fist, that would have been a huge win in our favor. Meanwhile, here I want to get some counter jungling done. Poachers might have been decent in regards to this, but I don't really do enough to justify that. So I go ahead and smite the big wolf so that I have the vision in their jungle. That's better than just dropping wards here and there. And I leave the one up as a parting gift. So right there they gave me the ping to go ahead and push this out, see if I can generate some pressure this way. Worst come to worst, if the enemy started to aggress, I could walk towards the lane and then ult in if needed. So just from this composition, you'd kind of assume we do a 1-3-1 split push, Shen and I in the solo lanes while the team is grouped up mid, especially since Morgana is more like a utility mid than a carry. And my team is going to make some really bad calls because they don't seem to realize that.
Has been slain.
So Leona goes down. And sadly, these get frozen just within tower range. So right there I got to get the Yasuo teleport, and I don't bother sticking around. His teleport is more than enough, more than I could have asked for. So I want to go ahead and get this, and worst come to worst, I can just jump into a fight if one erupts. But now that my wolf is down, I have to use the old-fashioned wards to get stuff done. Here I peek to see if Gragas finally got around to clearing that, and I think them seeing me there might have scared them a bit. And what payback number was I at? But another one for Gragas. So he becomes more stacks to my Devourer. And here I'm free to walk away, because if Trist wanted to try to duel me, I can tear her apart. So she's smart enough to know just walk away, let the spook go. So right here I pop the spell shield because the Dragon's Breath counts as a magic attack, which gives me the double passive attack speed bonus. And from here, just lay into the dragon. This time I wanted to smite it because we had Ezreal there. It wasn't as secure as the previous one. So more stacks from my Devour, and we get the rank 2 dragon buff, which gives us more pushing power. So with the inner ring of turrets left, that buff is just so friggin' valuable. Meanwhile, I can go ahead and get the Randuin's Omen. Once I have the 2 damage items, the Devourer and the Blade of the Rune King, I usually like to go a little bit tankier so that I can skirmish, I can split push, I don't have to worry about getting blown up. As for the Null Magic Mantle, when I was thinking about it this game, while the Spirit Visage does give me 10% CDR, which is pretty tempting, I need the Hexdrinker because there's quite a bit of magic damage on the field. We have Zyra, Veigar, Gragas. Yasuo does magic damage with his Shiv, and I think some of Trist's stuff still does magic damage. So Gragas thought he could just belly flop over the wall. He goes down. Az gives that a gentle shove, and we can put our dragon buff to work. And sadly, I thought I broke the tower aggro, but once I was here, I figured I'm just going to take the damn thing. So they want to go one more, but with our team, it's very, very hard to aggress on Yasuo. And you can see Az just got blown the hell up. So one thing that does kind of suck for him is that the Frozen Fist gives AP, just like the Triforce gives more than normal, like at Yasuo. And as a result, Veigar has a bigger burst on him. Since my ult was still up, I was looping around in case we wanted to try to re-engage. I just wanted to lifesteal off of something. Ultimately, I settled for their blue buff just to deny from both Gragas and Veigar. And as you can see, there was a pink word in the brush there. So right here, they are going to get me because Gragas has a million things to initiate. He has the Righteous Glory, he had his Belly Flop, his Smite, his Flash, and it took all those things to get me. And now that I have the Hexdrinker, I'm going to start paying him back again. So I didn't get a good look at his boots, but I think he has Ninja Tabby. He's in a bit of a tricky spot, because he can go Ninja Tabby to cut down on my damage, or he can go Merc Tread so that I don't have this huge window to tear him apart with my Unspeakable Horror. So he's in a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So Ez took red buff, doesn't really matter because there's not going to be a lot of chasing in this game. If there is, it's going to be like Yasuo and Gragas where we can't really lock them down. Tristana can jump away. The only ones who like get help with would be like Veigar and Zyra. And it also doesn't help that Zyra is one of the slowest characters in the game to start with, so yeah. And speaking of slowest characters, I forgot to also point out we have one of them with us, Ezreal. The price of having a wolf. So it kind of sucked that I was spotted here, otherwise I could have tried to flank for a kill. And you can see that they're backing off because I don't know if they're afraid of the Leona initiate or just that I'm going to jump out and ruin their day. So Ez took my red, I can go ahead and help myself to this one. And we have eyes on Gragas this time, so he's not getting this. And I do want to kill this so that we get the clear timer. So I help myself to a free Zyra. Yasuo shows up, but he can't really do much. The Trist, on the other hand, is a little dangerous, as is the Veigar, now that I'm down to this low health. You can see Ez got 3 kills there. He died for it, but the most important thing is that I lived. So Dangerous Game was giving me chunks of HP as people died, and the Hexdrinker shield also played a role in keeping me alive that long. So after that fight, I want to go ahead and push this into the tower so that we can try to get some more damage on that. Not to mention just hitting these is going to give me HP back. So we got the shield down, we can start hitting it a bit, but yeah, I can spell shield and walk through the event horizon. That totally sucks for Veigar. So we got it down to half health, we can just pick it up on the next push. In the meantime, I can go ahead and just drop the ward there, and the dragon should be coming up relatively soon. So Shen and I go ahead and get that. By killing that, I get more stacks for my Devourer. Plus we now have the speed zone to allow us to disengage if the enemy decides to try to jump us. So right here we go ahead and pick up the pink ward, and I think we kind of scared Tristana into backing off thinking we were coming for her instead of just trying to secure the area for Dragon. So once again, spell shield the breath, that way I get the attack speed and I can clear this more quickly. Shen wants to tank this, it doesn't really matter because of the Vorpal Blade, both of us are going to be staying relatively healthy. Dragon's Breath is supposed to do percent HP damage, but it's not really enough. And right here I want to get the Maw right now. The reason for that is because, well, I have one more free spot, so it's not a bad time to pick it up. And the other part is the Maw has the passive that's kind of like, is it Tryndamere Q, where the lower your health is, the more AD you get. So when the enemy wants to try to duel me, the closer they get to killing me, the harder I hit, and then I lifesteal more, and, well, if they can't break some sort of equilibrium, then they're not going to kill me. So I went ahead and cleared all of this so that the tower doesn't take any damage, plus I get the gold and the EXP. Plus Shen was somewhere else from the look of it. But right there I now have max ult, so I have the highest range and lowest cooldown that it gets. So I ended up picking up the Zyra kill just with my ult, and if nothing else, we have the whole fear factor thing going on. My spell shielded way too late, sadly. And since Ez doesn't have the Trinity, the tower is a real chore to take. Right here I'm notifying the team that I'm not with them. Sieging is a tad difficult, so I don't really want to try. It's going to be hard to damage the tower because Yasuo is shield. He can do some damage to the wave with his Shiv. Gragas has his barrel to help contribute to it. They have a lot of ways to kind of thin the wave out, and basically the way I see it, our best way to actually siege is to do a split push to where we have to force them to thin out. And namely, if we can pull Yasuo to one side or the other, then the siege becomes considerably easier.
This place disgusts me.
And so right there, poor Veigar. Kinda wanted to get Gragas too, but that's a little too greedy, I think. Plus, I think I kind of scared the crap out of him right there with the unspeakable horror. So, right there, you got to see me go 1v2. Not exactly payback on Gragas, but definitely shaking his team's confidence in him, I think. And sadly, the next time they try to do that, they will have 4 people instead of just 2, so heads up. And I also kind of spoiled it for you, that's going to happen again. So for my final item, there were a couple that I was considering. Some sort of armor penetration item, either Last Whisper or Black Cleaver. Or I could go for the Portal. So the call is pretty much comes down to this question. Where do I see the game going? The Last Whisper is good if I want to try to assassinate, kind of like that. Got to pick off Trist, cost us Ezreal, which was an awesome trade for us. And we might have been able to win this. It's just we opt to back out instead, play it safe. So Last Whisper if we want to teamfight and I want to assassinate people. Black Cleaver, the trade-off here is I get health, I get HP, I get CDR. But the cost that comes with this is just that I don't have much for defensive stats. I just have the Randuin's Omen and the Hexdrinker Maw, whatever you want to call it. So I'd still be a tad squishy, even though I'd hit a little bit harder. I go for the Zerat Portal because it has regen that comes with it, so even if I'm not lifestealing, I still get stuff. I get armor and MR so I can duel whoever comes at me. And I also get the active effect to try to augment my split pushing. So that was my line of thinking and picking up the portal. But otherwise from here my trinket is fully upgraded. I need to upgrade my boots and then just start buying potions. And like I said, since I wanted to split push, the potion I want is the Rune Potion, so that I can have the minions deal more damage to the tower. So right here I don't really have much to fear. I'm pretty much the guy to be feared on the map. When I come walking, they go running. As for this, I smited the chicken to give us vision. This way we get the buff to tell us if we pass a ward, etc. And we get to go for the Baron buff. And I'm not actually going to be able to make the most of this, because if you look, the enemy is coming our way, and I'm one of the people that's going to die in some kind of battle. So right there we had a lag spike, which I was afraid would possibly jeopardize the Baron. In the end, it turned out not to be the case. And here I ult Veigar because I figured, hey, he's the AP carry, definitely worth it. No. He's pretty much never going to be worth it. And after this, I pretty much resolved that if I'm going to jump on someone during a team fight, it's going to be Tristana or pretty much no one. So Yasuo goes down. All in all, I'd say it's not really worth it. And I go for Captain Boots, and the reason for that is if I jump into the enemy like that again, I want the team to be able to catch up more quickly. I could have went Fear or Alacrity for more speed for me, Distortion for just, you know, more flashes. The thing is, Nocturne's pretty much all in. If you can't kill the enemy, you're not going to amount to much, period. So right here, it all comes down to Morgana as the only one left with the Baron buff. And sadly, I think this is the one dragon that they do get. So as a result of the Baron play that we made, it ends up costing us the 5th dragon buff in the long run. Now I could suicide to try to get that. I could just ult in, try to smite it. Hopefully the enemy doesn't take it from me, all that, and then flash out, but I just didn't see that working, and basically if they could land one type of lockdown on me, either the Zyra Roots, the Gragas stun, a Yasuo knockup, that'd just be the end of me. So while Morgana has the Baron buff, this is when she kind of wants to split push, like generate pressure somewhere to take advantage of that. I can go off into a side lane to try to make an enemy come to me, and as a result we just have greater pressure. As for that, you can see they got the wolf buff because I think they started to realize I was making that side of the jungle my home. And here comes the 4-man gang. So there's Veigar, there's Gragas, there's Zyra and Trist. So knockback with the Gragas ult, and I just walk out. And while all that was going on, if you look at the mid lane,
Team has destroyed
Yasuo couldn't stop them.
An enemy has been slain.
It even cost him his life. So right there, it paid off massively. And here, I have full build, I just need to start buying potions. Anyway, one interesting stat I can give you guys while we wait for the next fight. There's only about 10 minutes left in the game. Out of the entire team's gold generated, I had, well, just out of gold generated in total, I pulled in something like 25,000 gold over the course of this game. The next highest was 19, I think. So I took in far, far more than I could potentially spend. Had I been Warrior Nocturne, that would have been no problem. I'd just swap out the Warrior for probably a Black Cleaver. But I opted for Devour, and I'd say that was the wiser of the decisions right here. So right now I don't have Flash to get out of that again, plus we kind of see them. As for this tower, it's low enough to where I can just walk up and whack it a couple times. And here I mess up with the portal by putting it too close to the tower so Tristana can pick it off from safety. In reality, I probably should have dropped it somewhere around here. So right there, Body Slam was denied from Gragas. And down he goes. Right there, it's just too close. I wanted to try to defend it, but there's not really much I can do since Triss can sit under tower. So I resolved to let her take that and just walk somewhere else since, well, she was distracted. Basically guarantees us the inhib. As for this, looks like, did Shen ult me? I can't really tell. But if you look, Ez is taking the top inhibitor, I decided to try to walk over and give him a hand. He takes out Zyra at the cost of his own life. Right there we kind of baited out the Event Horizon, and we can just leave with 2 inhibitors down.
The sound of blood.
So right here, jumping on her was kind of tempting, but due to her jump and her knockback, actually getting anything out of that would be a little tricky. Not to mention you can see her goon squad in close proximity behind her. Although they don't stick around, and all in all, dropping that ward there proved to be a pretty good move since they swept the one and missed the second. Right here I have all that money and nothing to spend it on other than another Elixir of Rune.
The light is fading.
Now I don't know if that has any impact on the voidlings created by the portal. I don't even know if Banner of Command affects them, but in the event it does, I'm prepared. In the meantime, I want to pick up another stack for my Devour, as well as just kill a little bit of time for it to come back online, maybe find out where the enemy is, all that good stuff. As for right here, you can see my team, well, this is where they make an incredibly stupid move. So for one reason or another, they don't realize, hey, Nocturne is not here. Maybe we should wait for him to push up the lane, like we were kind of pinging. But no, they opt to engage, and they're gonna die, and there's nothing I can do to save them. So right here, the fight's already over, and I just figured, hey, I'm gonna get something out of this. Ezreal's raging, but the guy is pretty bad. Nothing I can do to fix that. In the meantime, I can help myself to this pink.
Are you my nightmare? Or am I yours?
So normally this is when I'd mute people, but I was more distracted by the dragon, so they kind of got by. So I can go ahead and try to take this pretty quick. Didn't see what bonus that gave, but it looks like buff number 4, so increased clearing speed. Additionally, that means we can deal more damage to the Baron and the various monsters. And while I wait for the idiots to respawn, I just have to keep clearing the jungle, keep building the Devourer, and just turn into the Nightmare Nocturne is. So all in all, that would be much better on Morgana, I think, but Ezreal's not the brightest crayon in the box, so nothing I can do about that. As for this stage of the game, Baron's pretty safe, easy, clear. And this time I was not going to make the mistake of engaging again. So Morgana goes and picks off Zyra. I waited for Tristana to try to show herself to jump on her. Since she never materialized, we get to watch Ezreal get chunked down instead because the guy's a dumbass. As for right here, the inhibitors are going to be coming up somewhat soon. And since he almost got away, I figure he is kind of worth it this time. So while we lost Ez, we did trade him for Veigar, so we got to pick off some of their team utility. We don't have to worry about the Event Horizon raining on our parade. In the meantime, we gotta wait for this to come back together. And then we can take it down. Now the top one's coming up, because remember Ezreal took that one right after. So I got to give the Baron buff to the super minions to annoy Trist. And during the confusion, Shen and I are free to take this. And we just have to walk away like nothing ever happened. Gragas messed up his body slam, so no way for them to engage on us. I think that was Tristana using her blue trinket, which did not serve her well. So with the 2 inhibitors down, the logical thing in my opinion would be, hey, go bot, get the 3rd one and just overwhelm the base. Something along those lines. That's not how things are going to play out, sadly. We will get it down eventually, it's just not going to be that smooth. And right here you can see I'm sitting on 5,000 gold, which I can't really spend. Just pick up a new potion, go on back. And right here I pointed out to them, there's only 3 of you, don't make the same stupid mistake again.
This place disgusts me.
Right there the game lagged, so my Q came in way too late, and as a result I only nailed the 1 chicken. But I still have the Dust Trail to allow me to do more damage when I clear. As for this, normally I'd say it's free gold, but we've been over that point. Here it's just another stack and vision.
Afraid of the dark.
Now this time I place it a little bit further back, and bye-bye Ez. So I have to give up the portal because Ezreal doesn't know. Don't stand up front, you're supposed to be the carry. Even though stats clearly indicate otherwise. As for right here, I don't think I ulted Trist, but we managed to get Yasuo. We can go ahead and pick up Gragas. I went down. And that was a 4 of us versus 5 of them fight because Ez died earlier. So Morg is our only survivor. And now we have to wait 40 seconds for me to come back up. But the game is going to end on the next play, so you'll get to see, hopefully, what you've been hoping for. Whatever that is, that's up for you to decide, though. So, 20 seconds. Sadly, there isn't much going on the map for me to actually show you guys. I probably should have just held the one button open, the tab. But my new routine is picking up that elixir and then heading out to the field. Ah, we do get the 5th dragon, I remember it now. Yeah, this is... you'll see what Gragas does. So Ez is going to start that for us, and if... well... just by trying to stop him, they give me someone to jump to. This one comes down to the wire. So right here I jump straight onto Gragas because his smite is what we have to be concerned about. So I wanted to jump to him, he got away, so I have to settle for picking off Veigar. And I don't have smite right now, so I had to wait until the absolute last second for it to come back up for me to secure the dragon number 5, and then, there we go, we picked off Trist, and in the end, Gragas is the only survivor. And the portal is up, so I can go ahead and drop that there to help take the inhib and then ultimately the Nexus towers. So you could argue that it was totally not necessary, there is some truth to that. Leona, for some reason, decides to try to go on Gragas. Me, I'm content just taking the towers. So right there I did some damage to him. I didn't use my E. If I did, we might have actually been able to kill him, but it doesn't matter. So they surrender before we can take the base, and that was Nocturne in the Jungle. Pretty long game, and hopefully one to keep you guys interested and excited and stuff. So any additional thoughts will be in the description. Until next time, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.